is the Pledge of Allegiance, so you can just stand, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome, welcome. I always love it when we have a packed house. So for people around the corner, please, we got plenty of seats over here so I can see you. I see a couple folks over there.
It was good.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I don't have any announcements. I think most of you guys are aware, and we'll talk about it in a little bit of detail. We're excited. This Saturday, we're going to have a visit from the Easter Bunny. We want to have an Easter egg hunt, and that's still on the agenda right now as we speak, but we talked about it in our working groups. If it's going to change, we're going to push it out and, as soon as possible, but we're going to have the Easter Bunny visit us over at the pavilion Saturday, and we'll be passing out candy, and we have face painting, we have coloring, and anything else that I missed.
Food trucks.
Food trucks, which is more, yes, food trucks are going to be out there as well. So we plan to have a big festivities. Please push that out to everybody. We'd love to have, 1,000, 2,000 people out here. So if we could do it, that'd be great. And I also want to thank everybody who's been involved with that. Once again, the one, Mary, she's the trade of all things. She's got everything knocked down. So I appreciate everything she's done. And she's been traveling and everything else and still been able to knock it out. So I appreciate everything you do. So good. All right, next is the approval of the February 2023 meeting minutes. For the folks that are new here, we had voted a couple months ago because our town is so small and we really want to be beneficial for everyone and make the town councils more productive. We're doing them every other month. And just basically what you can see on the agenda itself, we're really, I've got some stuff that we really can discuss, really fulfilling for the town council itself, and we're really making this more productive. So I appreciate it. There wasn't any major issues in the last month, the council meeting that we didn't have. So we'll continue doing that in case, or until there becomes an issue or a problem, and then we will readdress it. Okay? All right, so for the council, if you guys could just take a look at the monthly meetings from 2 months ago. Okay, so just a reminder, we increased our building permit cost 2 months ago, so everybody be aware of that.
Business license.
Yes, the business license, yes. And then we sold the truck. No issues. Anything from that? Nothing. All right, do I have a motion to approve the monthly meeting minutes for the month of February 2023?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for February 2023.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. Okay, awesome. All right, the next is approval of February and March 2023 financial reports.
Mary's starting that one.
Let's read it to me. So did you send this to me on digits?
I did. It should be labeled as March's.
Marches. All right, here.
Yeah.
This one?
No. One is, yeah, that's that.
So for everybody, you can look. These are our 5 accounts that we have, and I had asked the council to be able to publicly show this to everybody if there was any questions. The first one being our general operating fund, our schoolhouse museum, it hasn't changed, our splash account, FEMA, and then American Rescue Plan. So I just want to make that public, so everybody sees that. If there's any questions or concerns, you can let them know. And then the budget. Okay, so the council is going to vote on both months. See, I appreciate what you're doing here. It's a squincher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, perfect. Yep. So this is a deposit of our local option sales tax lost. What is this? Unclear?
These are two uncleared checks.
Oh.
That's why this balance differs from the original.
So you guys are fully aware that we approved on the voting, the repairs for the roof, but then after a second assessment, after there was more repair that needed to be done. So total estimate cost was that was 1,200, 1,300, something like that.
Yeah, for the second one was 1,300.
1,300. Okay, and then for the town council, I'd ask Dawn to provide the monthly breakdown based on our approved budget as well, if you've seen that. So Dawn, help me out on this. Repairs and maintenance, this is for the roof, right? This is why this has increased as it has. It had to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why such a significant increase on this?
That was remember I had to get my phone on the HIK,
Okay.
so that was a little bit more.
Is that what it's going to be reoccurring every month?
No.
Okay.
It'll go back, in fact, it already has gone back to the one.
Okay, so this is all deposits, right? When it starts here?
Right, starting with 2.9, yeah.
So undeposit funds.
That is
for
how-
example.
That is how the taxes, when people pay their taxes, that's how it's put in as, and I didn't change that.
Oh, I need to, so when I'm looking at this document, I don't know where that's coming from. So see, I know where this comes from. I know where this comes from, right?
Right.
But I need an explanation for that.
That,
Okay.
yeah, that invoice, when Buffy helped me do the taxes this year, she just copied what they had done last year and then changed the 2022.
So this document
I will
is
redo it.
designed, it's for the public, and it should be able to explain everything. So we worked on the dates, we worked on deposit or payment out. This is what it was for, to who, this is why.
Right.
Yep.
So undeposited, it's just called undeposited?
Yeah, these first
Undeposited
three.
funds, okay. Yeah,
And
that's just
business
when people pay their
license.
taxes,
Oh.
that's how.
So this
it-
is someone purchasing a business license. I don't know these three. I got this, they rented the park. This is a business license, rail car. Is this them providing the rent? Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's all, I should even have that to say that.
Say,
Because it'd be
Who?
like, why is
Yeah.
someone paying $200 for a rail car, right?
Okay.
So just specifically write that out. Business license and then insurance premium tax, insurance.
yeah, that's like, there's several companies that pay us like $15 for their taxes. And I don't understand it. It's insurance, they're all insurance companies, so I don't know if they're insurance companies that are within the town. I don't think so, though. Because I called on one, and that's how I found out it was, so I was like, what is this about? And he said it was some premium tax that they paid to sell insurance in our town or something.
Okay, so how you have it right here, that's perfect. I just want that right there.
Yeah, well, and the reason the other one is like that is because that's a credit card thing, and I'm real specific, but this is just the way it goes in. So I will figure out how to change that.
Okay, all right. All right, do I have a motion to accept, do I have a motion to approve the financial reports for both the months of February and March of 2023?
A motion that we approve the financials reports for both February and March 2023.
Okay, do I have a second?
I said,
Okay, all in favor? All right, that's unanimous. Okay, awesome. Next is a summary of maintenance for the last couple months. Jerry, what we got?
Oh Lord, I forgot to write them all down. Fixed the commode over at the train cars. Is it still doing okay? I replaced the cable. It never did work right since I changed that tank, but I think this will be better. Just trimming bushes, cleaning up the part.
What's transpired with the restrooms and the partitions?
Nothing. I mean, people took care of it.
Okay, no issues, all good
No.
installed, everything was fine?
Yeah, we've not had anything issue with our estimate.
Who was it you said you was getting ready to come out on the 17th? Generac or something?
For the generator in the back, they do, evidently they do service on it twice a year.
Yep.
So, she called me the other day, they'll be here 17th.
That's good. Okay. Anything else, sir?
When we had that pump that cleared issues up with this, we didn't have anything else. So.
Yeah, we, for the public, we've had some issues with septic systems within here in the town hall. We've had some flooding. We've identified it with the repair personnel that came out and looked at it, so we've addressed it. We're gonna have to look at it in the future of having a segregated or dedicated public or a septic system for the town hall itself. That's one option, or the second option is the option that we've always talked about, was providing a new septic systems for all the businesses and all the buildings here on Main Street. The issue with that, and everybody's fully aware of, is that we'd have to accrue property to be able to do that. So we're still in discussions with that. So. Anything else?
That's about it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so we'll move to old business. First thing on the old business, we had the LMIG update. Any updates on that? Or?
Yep, that's, we have the last of it getting ready to be repaired on Old Blairsville Road. And then we have, it's 2020 and 2021, and we should be able to close that out because we're behind right now.
And on that same thing, how are we on the audits?
I called him yesterday or the day before, and he's really backed up with taxes right now. But 2020 is done, and I went on and checked the, whatever it's called, RLGF or whatever, reporting. He did that, and that's all. So we're only non-compliant in 21 now.
And to finish up this year?
Yeah, and then, well, this isn't due until June.
June.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Next, camera update on the pavilion. We had the cameras changed, or
He decided not to do it because it was gonna be $1,800.
Yeah, so after we had ETC come out and look at it, we wanted to specifically have the cameras on the outside looking at the restrooms because we'd had some vandalism. but it was a cost that I didn't think was necessary to be able to do that. But Jerry assures me that where they're at in the angle, you'd be able to identify it.
yeah.
Jerry's here enough that he's able to look at it, and this has been a one-time incident, so I didn't see it was cost-effective to do that. We'll continue to monitor it as we move along, and if there's any other issues, we'll readdress that. But we're limited in those funds. We spent several thousands of dollars to be able to provide those cameras for the safety of the town hall and the parking as well. We have 4 cameras there right now, so we'll just keep monitoring it. Updates on the roof. So we had some leaking here in the town hall. We had received a quote and everybody approved that bid. We had the individual come out and do it. After the next rainstorm, we had identified some other issues. Those were low cost in my mind, so we had a budget for that. So it has been repaired here in the last 3 weeks, and we're just waiting to see if there's any issues after this weekend or the next major rain. And then lastly, there was a concern that was voiced by one of our citizens about how dog leashes and having dog leashes in the park, and we provided a sign. I show the sign that Don got us fixed up with. So it's good, little improvement there for the park, and Jerry will install that, unless Don wants to do it, and we should be good.
Hey, she runs a chainsaw, you don't mess with her.
All right, if no other questions, comments, we'll move to new business. So as I had stated before, we've been excited. This group that we have here is always looking for ways to improve the accessibility and just the participation of our citizens and anybody else in tourism down here in Talking Rock proper. So one of the things that we wanted to do was really reestablish what we had done in the past with the Easter egg hunt. Unfortunately, everybody's fully aware that the weather is not going to cooperate with us on Saturday. They're calling for rain starting at 6 till the entire day. But we're not going to, shut that down. We've got an Easter bunny who's very excited about coming and seeing the kids. So that Easter bunny's going to be here, and we're just going to reroute it. We've got some food trucks as well. And we just have it's another celebration before Easter, and it's an opportunity for a gathering for our citizens and anybody who wants to come and visit Talking Rock. We've got just fantastic businesses, and it's growing absolutely just in a positive way, and so I'm excited about it. So I don't care if it rains or not, we're still going to have a great time. So look forward to that this Saturday from 11 to 2, and please come on down. Everybody in this room should come since they know that, so there shouldn't be any issues. Next, tourism event planning. So I'll let some of you guys talk about it, some of the things that we wanted to do and how we want to move forward. But we are, again, I think Mary and all the other great volunteers have had enough break, and now we're going to be focused on Heritage Days 2023 because we're still going to have it. So we got to start moving forward to that, but there's other things that we can do within our tourism. For you guys that are not aware, we have the Godfreys have just opened up their business. We have Dusty. Dusty, when do you think your business is going to be open?
I don't know.
Because it looks like it's jumping up.
Yeah, we took off pretty good. I don't know. Lisa, I was going to put a sign up, and Lisa won't let me do that because she's afraid we'll put something up and I won't meet that sign. You know what I'm saying? So we're just moving.
Before Heritage
swiftly.
Days?
Huh?
Before Heritage Days?
Yeah, should. Yeah. I mean, should.
Well, I won't lock you into that. It's what, second week of October? Third week of October.
We got a our parking issue up there. That's a great place for people to park. I come through last night and I poured concrete and there was cars in there last night at 10 o'clock. I pulled in there and I'm like, we were over here working. I'm like, what are they doing here? So trying to figure out how because we're going to pave that parking lot, but we're trying to figure out how to keep people from pulling in there at night. And it's just a great pullover place, especially after we pave it. They're going to love that because they're going to pull in there, and I really don't want that, for them. And there's a sign there that says no parking, but they're pulling on my property. So I've got some ideas on that, but I don't want to gate it up or nothing. And I don't really want to have chains because I want it to look good, but I've got to keep people from pulling in there at night.
Well, what you guys have done so far, we're really excited about it, and I know it's gonna be awesome when it gets done. You just have till the third week
Yep.
of October to get it done, so.
And how's the mural coming?
It's working. I had to stop and have my eyes
Okay.
taken care of, and then
Okay.
I'll get back on it.
It'll be,
It won't be long.
I'm gonna get done for you.
About. We've got about 24 more hours to do
Really?
it. Yeah,
Okay, if you need anything, let us know.
I will.
And what you guys want to talk about, what we decided to do with chalk and rock? We're gonna push that till,
We should
Next
till
spring.
next spring, so you have more planning time.
yeah,
It was
still-
gonna fall too close to October.
yeah. We still want to do some other things. We've had there's Michelle right there. We had talked about doing a flea market or some type of gatherings that we have the area. And I apologize with another thing. You and I need to talk about, we need to start moving towards cleaning up the 2 acres that we own. And if that includes grading and stuff, we need to do that, because we can't rely on the business that the Godfreys have now. We can't rely on that as parking anymore, because they're gonna run their business on Heritage Street. They're gonna do phenomenal as all the other businesses. So we have those 2 acres that we're gonna utilize for additional parking, and we use the train car and some other ways of getting folks down here. But I've rode by that a couple times, and I think it's gonna be easy to grade that and clean that up and start maturing that, so there won't be any issues come October, so.
Yeah, actually, there's a guy that lives in Top Rock. There's an old well on there we need to, he showed me where it was at. It's kind of sinking in. They filled it up, but it's caving back in, on that property. I don't know,
Hand up?
no, it's
And,
bored.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's bored well.
Wow.
He remembered it as a kid when the old house place was there. And, he took me right to it.
Is it in the center, or?
It's more, if you're facing it, it's more to the right over there. I've got a little trail from, on the gator,
Okay.
and it's right beside the gator trail. I didn't even know it was there.
Okay, all right, well, we'll look at that,
Yeah.
but the goal is to be able to utilize as much as we can for that property.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty easy.
So, going back to it, we want to create some type of environments down in the area that we use for parking for Heritage Days now. Maybe flea markets, or, try to complement what Jasper's doing and LJ does. I just want to do something in the summer with all these great businesses. I don't want Talking Rock to be a pass-through town. If the tourism is growing in Jasper, it's downtown Jasper, and it's growing in LJ, I want it to grow here just as much. So any advice or any comments, Michelle?
We're gonna try to do a car show maybe in July. So if other businesses wanted to do something at the same time, and then we may get to where we do like market days, where we have like booths in our parking lot, rent out booth spaces. It'd be a good idea if like maybe if the brewery had a band that weekend, or we could get a food truck,
Absolutely. Yeah, I would like to get stuff like that on the calendar and push that in our social media, so, we get the
I'll
acknowledgement.
try to nail down some dates in the
Okay.
next 2 weeks or so.
And just real quick, make sure that we have the chamber knowing our changes for the Easter egg hunt, so they can push that out tomorrow as well. And then if you push it to Michelle in the morning, they'll post that. Okay, awesome, and congratulations, you guys.
Yeah.
Real excited.
Really nice.
Super awesome, so we're super excited. Next, if we're good on that, next we're moving to the Shadow Creek Variance transfer. So this is a situation where we have a business, a few years ago, we had a business here on the main street where we had assumed, or we started the process for a variance because we have a family that wanted to live in their business. I apologize, I thought that was taken care of, but we have realized that that hasn't been taken care of. So what we want to do is we want to open up, we want to look at the possibility of creating a variance that has mixed commercial plus residential. So you have the opportunities down here on the main street to have some of those buildings to have individuals be able to live in their businesses, or create a Airbnb, that's just an example, or a business where you can have those two things. So in order for us to do that, we have to publicly announce that and then publish it for 15 days and no longer than 45 days. Once we'll do that, we'll come back with the council and then we'll put that to a vote, right? So if a family has a business here and they want to live in that business, we'll vote on that, but at the same time, we'll have to draft to change that in our charter as well, if that gets approved. Does that make sense? Okay. So then, Tony and you guys can live in the lateral drift if you want.
No, thank you. We're there enough.
Mary's got
Weird.
Okay, any questions, concerns about that? Okay. Yeah, it hasn't been a concern because we've had the family do it for a couple of years now. There's not been any issues, so we'll make sure that we officially get it. And that's what I appreciate with the town council. The council that you have now, it's not me, the council you have now really looks at the things that need to be improved and really voice their concerns and really have a plan to do that. So that talks about the quality of the people that you have serving here, and I appreciate those efforts as we improve. The next is the de-annexation of the 4.63 acres. And do we have representatives to be able to discuss that here today?
Yes.
If you can come up here and identify who you are. And
Yeah, y'all been talking about a lot of fun stuff, Easter egg hunts and car shows, and now comes the de-annexation guy, right?
good to see you, Lauren.
You too. It's been a while since I've been to a Talking Rock Council meeting, but anyway, appreciate your opportunity to talk to everybody about this. It's usually de-annexation is a cuss word, you know, but this is actually a matter of follow-up. I've got a handout. I'm kind of a visual person. This is actually a follow-up of a land trade that took place between Wildcat Timber and the owners of the Grizzle Estate. And they actually, there's two surveys here. They actually appear to be identical, but they're not. Mark Chastain, a really good surveyor, prepared these for Wildcat Timber. The original one was done in 2018. Wildcat was attempted to trade some property, just equal amounts of property from the the Grizzle Estate. And the purpose for Wildcat Timber, most of you know about the new subdivision going in. Congratulations on that. Really nice looking road going in. Looks like they're doing top quality work. With the land trade that took place, there was no money exchanged. It was just basically the 4.63 acres that was just switched. And the original survey that was prepared showed a shed on adjacent property that was over the line as an encumbrance. Well, the Grizzle family wanted the shed removed off of the Wildcat Timber property before they took the land in trade. Well, they successfully moved the shed, went back to surveyor, he verified it was no longer an encumbrance, no longer on the property. But at the same time, he made some additional notations on there. The Grizzle family, when they made this trade, it was never disclosed to them that that property was actually in the city limits talking on. So when they got to the closing, Brett Jones and Ella Jake did the closing. When they got there, they were handed the original survey when they did all the contracts. When they went to close on the property, the day of closing, they were asked to initial the survey, but, because it noted that the shed, and the revision on there notes that the shed was taken off. Well, one of them is a land transaction survey, the other one is a line correction survey. So they were unaware that they were actually, the property that they took in was actually in the city of Talking Rock. Well, the land that Wildcat Timber took from them was not in the city of Talking Rock, it was in the county. So that piece of property was very key to that subdivision being put in because the road that goes in there runs across that 4 acres. Yep. So, the Grizzle family was instrumental in being able to provide Wildcat Timber the opportunity to have an access road going in there. In exchange, they got access off of 136. The property that they received was under 5 acres. It's basically a hillside with some rock outcroppings. It's a little creek valley, but it does provide them an access road to their property. They've got frontage on Jones Mountain Road and about a 1/4 mile on Fisher Creek Road. So they got plenty of access to their property, but the exchange with Wildcat Timber did give them access off of 136. So I'm Lamar Cantrell with Cantrell Realty, and they've actually entered into an agreement with me to sell that property. So, you know, the property, they would have to obtain a variance if I remember the guidelines in Talking Rock, 5 acres, right, to have a house.
Yes.
So they would have to get a variance before they could even get a building permit on the property that they got from them because of it being standalone. What they're proposing to do, and I talked to the county, and the county said that for them, a jurisdiction swap is fine with them. Makes more sense. We're not taking anything away from Talking Rock because we would be, if you guys annex the other property, it'd be just basically to 1/10 of an acre of the same property. But I didn't know what the process was with Talking Rock for de-annexation, if we had to fill out an application and do all that, or if we could just, you know, appear and request that the council vote on the, you know, de-annexing that property.
Is there any issue? Is there any issue for a vote for the de-annexation and then provide the paperwork to fill that out for this example that we have provided?
So what's the property that's going to be
Tract
going
A,
from the county to the city?
Tract A.
So that requires a process where we have to notify the county formally in writing, and they have 45 days to review it and to object. So you can't make a final vote on that until those 45 days have passed.
So who on behalf, you're talking about the town itself has to make that request with the county?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can.
So that is
we can
something
prepare those.
that I've never been involved with. So is that,
I believe it will also have to be rezoned, 'cause it's currently agriculture,
I think that is what
which
Jeff
doesn't
had
exist
said.
anymore. It's now like residential agriculture, so you have to go through the rezoning process as well,
Well,
which essentially will be the same time.
yeah, and the other question that comes up is that property has already been cleared and developed. The Wildcat Timber's already cut the trees off of it. And I can't find any evidence that they acquired a land disturbance permit. County doesn't know of a land disturbance permit. It's over 1 acre. So they've already started development on the property they acquired from the Grizzles family. But I don't know who's approving, I don't know if it's, because it's the county property. And Wes Fry told me that he didn't know of any approval that taking place. So what we want is we just want to de-annex our park, you know, just because there are 113 acres was originally just in the county. They only paid county tax. So now, and at the closing, they weren't even prorated property tax at the closing. So that's another reason they didn't know. When I was looking at the property, I noticed those notations on the survey that they initialed at closing, but not the one that they had contracted under. So, you know, they had no idea it was in the city. Basically, they just want all their property just to be consolidated and just be in the county for simplicity. I mean, it's kind of like, you know.
Having half of it in.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, they got less than 5 acres, they can't build a house on it, and they originally had 113 acres in the county. Now they've got a split jurisdiction. It's kind of like, you know, in school, you know, break up with your girlfriend because sooner or later you figure, you know, there's not enough in the relationship to buy the roses at the Valentine's Day, right?
So who is it in the county that we need to reach out to?
I would say Wes Fry probably at Planning and Development. He's probably the guy that you need to talk to. And probably Roy Dobbs would also be a big part of that.
Roy, I wanted to, okay.
Yeah, you could call Roy first and ask him what
So have you
needs to
spoken to him
happen.
before?
I
Okay.
speak to him.
Yeah, so I just want to know what the procedure would
Sure.
be if we have to get that in writing. He would be, we would assume that Mr. Dobbs or possibly Mr. Fry, one of those individuals would provide documentation that says we have no issues with this de-annexation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna release 4.63 acres, you definitely wanna be able to replace it with the other property without issue.
So is there a time constraint on this?
No, the only thing is, we're actively marketing the property, and we got some people interested in it, so we have to disclose now that we've discovered that we've got split jurisdiction property.
Okay.
But we can do that.
Yeah, and once we draft this letter to the request, we'll provide that to you. It's just our next council meeting is 1 June. So is that an issue?
I got two of the owners of the property here. Is that a problem, 1st of June?
You're gonna have a letter that says we should put the request in, and
Yeah.
the county's not gonna say no.
Yeah, I mean, we don't expect you guys to do a snap finger, you know, I mean, this is a big decision for you guys. But it is for us too, you know, we definitely, yeah, she said it'd be fine. You know, as long as we know the wheels are in motion and whatever we need to do on our part so we can be ready, you know, come back to the next meeting. And I'm happy to go with you to talk with them or
Yeah,
whoever.
I voiced my concern before to Lamar. As the mayor pro tem, I don't want to lose land.
Right,
I want to grow Talking Rock. So I always
right, I
get
understand.
defensive when I want to get all the land possible and grow this. So,
But we're really not taking away. It was an
I understand.
no money changed hands. They exchanged land acre for acre with Wildcat Timber to enable Wildcat Timber to create you guys a larger tax digest for sure.
that's what we want.
Yeah. Well, they're working on it, that's for sure. And but I appreciate anything you guys can do. But that's our ultimate goal is to de-annex that property.
Okay. So
Doesn't make sense to be in the city for them.
I'll give you Lamar's contact information if you ever spoke to him, and then we'll make sure we get that
I
established.
have his email.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions from the council members about this?
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. Okay, next on our agenda is, before I go on, the great thing about our working group is we're able to work through our agenda and see if things need to be a vote or how we move forward on these things. And the next one is our ordinance updates on permits. Again, Tony has done an outstanding job since he's taken over. But one of the great things that he's did is, again, is improving what we're doing in our charter, improving in our permits, and making sure that we're doing the right thing. So in the working group, we identified, and Tony had identified some areas that need to be added, or we believe that need to be added to our charter, so we can improve on our permits. For example, building a pool. We don't have that type of permit here in the city of Talking Rock. So we're going to look to improve some of these things from a financial standpoint and a legal standpoint to make sure that we have the correct permits for any issues from building on your own or just any other thing. So what I've asked the council to do, I've asked Don to do, is to look to see how we mirror up with our neighboring cities to make sure that we're in compliance or make sure that we look the same because we're always trying to add and improve. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to reach out to Nelson and Jasper and see what they have on their books, see if we can come up and draft up a system or draft up an improvement to those permits. And then our next working group will let the council have their concerns voiced or discuss about how we move forward on that. And then eventually we'll put that to a vote and then update in our charter as well. Okay? If there's any questions or concerns about permits in the meantime, if someone builds a pool, how would that be addressed? Would that go through?
Well, we had one and we just told them to build a pool, because
Yeah.
we don't have any. You know,
All right.
we could have made something
I'm
up.
gonna tell you right now,
But it
if you
didn't
want
seem right.
to build a pool without
Do it
paying
right
for it,
now.
you better do it right now, right? So, yeah, better knock it out now because the free days are over.
Well, I did inspect it, there's 3 inspections on it.
Now, I appreciate that again. That's we're learning and growing, and we're establishing those things, and I'm great that it's called, and you get your freebie now. But again, it legitimizes what we're doing here as a business, as a town, and I really appreciate the efforts that we're doing to move forward on that. So. Next is updating a budget regarding the landfill fees. You guys are looking at it probably going, what's that? So again, I think you've heard before, we had an approved budget that we approved at the first of the year, at the end of the year for the year 2023. One of the line items that we had was landfill fees. We no longer do that, so we have a pot of money that we had adjusted and had planned for the year 2023, which was $500. So legally, I can't just make the changes on our overall budget. So I've asked our legal representation, how do we move forward in that $500? How do we identify it in another avenue or put it back into general operating funds and things like that? The whole purpose of this is we want to be transparent as possible. We, myself, members of the council, we're not just going to make changes because we're making changes. We're going to do it the legal way. We've identified that we don't need this line item. What do we do with it? So we've got to put that money back, and we're doing the appropriate actions to make that happen from a legal standpoint. Cool?
Cool.
Awesome. Any questions about that? Okay. Lastly, on the new business agenda, is that ARPA? Am I saying that right? ARPA money? Okay, ARPA money. Don, do you want to give us a little background on that?
What it is basically COVID relief money, where the government or the state gave you money depending on, I think, the tax, how many houses you have or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what it's based on. But we have $26,000 and we weren't sure what we could spend it on. And we found out that we can spend it on things that enhance the town, to bring people in, to spend money, to revitalization, that's the word, revitalize the town. So we can do some of the things that you guys have been talking about now with that.
Yeah, as we move along, we're really trying to identify exactly, what our left, right limits are. What am I allowed to purchase things on? We've done some repairs right now, but we did repairs last year. Now we're looking forward to how we can continue on doing those repairs. You've heard us in the past talk about, sidewalks, street lights, things like that. So I've reached out to the DOT. I didn't get that type of answer that I was looking for, so I need to look at some other avenues. But we've got to do things to improve these things, and we have these monies for it. Not to say that that's how much that's going to cost, because I don't think that is. So now we're going to look in what are other ways that we can do that, grants and things like that. But because it's significant what we want to do. But if you envision having proper sidewalks all the way down Main Street, all the way out to the main, and having street lights as well, and having a historical rustic sign for the town. These are things that we envision, but how do we properly get that way and how we do it, and not utilize money that is not designed for those things.
Yeah.
So make sure that we just do it right.
Because if you don't, you spend it on the right things, you submit all your things, and they'll say, well, this wasn't part of it, you have to pay that money back.
Yep, and
So-
they've done a good job in auditing what we do, and Don has done a phenomenal job really doing the checks and balances of exactly what we've done in the past, and we've adhered to ensure that we identify the things that need to be done and what it was used for, and that's what we've done so far to this point. So we will really look at that, and again, the council does not want to wait till June to start that. So what I say to the council is, let me continue to do some of the nug work here, where I'm trying to find out exactly what we can do. And if we have to occur a special meeting to discuss approving those funds, those monies to establish some of the things we'll do, I'll be better prepared, because I think the sidewalks and the lights, that my goal is to have that established or know exactly where we're at before the end of this year. That's not something that's going to happen overnight, but
I guess we only have till 2024 to use that money.
that's right. Yeah. So, any questions or concerns?
Now, is there something like in writing that says that that's what it can be used for, or did somebody tell you that?
Yeah, that can't remember
That
his
letter
name.
just,
Was it
that
Mills?
specifically said,
Yeah, he
So-
said, I asked specifically, like sidewalks and lights, and he said yes. And then that's when he sent me those two documents.
and does it
that
have to
I
be
forwarded
spent
you.
by the beginning of 2024?
I wanted to say it was
So they-
May, but I will have to verify that. I do have a folder on my desk, so I'll verify that.
I mean, that helps us out. Now we got a better understanding of what we can do and what that looks like. So, because I agree with you. Our council has recommended sidewalks all the way out to promote the businesses that we have at the beginning of the town. So, and I think that's only right. But to make it conducive for our tourism, for how everything ties into the brewery, to our antique stores, all the way out to what we have with Dusty and Michelle and Adam. So, anything else? Okay. All right. So lastly, what I have is our next council meeting again is going to be every 2 months. Our next council meeting is 1 June 2023 at working groups at 5:30, and then 7 o'clock is going to be our council meeting. Yes, ma'am.
We'll have public hearings probably
Yes.
prior.
Thank you very much. So we will have the public hearing for the variances for mixed use of commercial and residential. And so we'll have that, and that public hearing will be posted previously 2 weeks before that council meeting, so mid-May, and it will be during the working group. Remember how we've done it before? We open the working group at 5:30. We actually start a public hearing, and I give it the good old college try, 10, 20 minutes. And then from the participation, we move on to the working group, so, okay. Anything else? I appreciate everybody that's came. Love all the participation on this. That I really enjoy that. Really appreciate all the efforts that people have put into the town council. And I'm excited for the summer and the events that we have here. So thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to be adjourned the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? All right, that's unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.